lined up for you. Tata Steel reported a strong Q1. They beat street expectations. Their EBITDA beat was led by cost transformation and improved European performance. TV Narendran, who's the CEO and MD at Tata Steel, joins us now. Thank you so much, Mr. Narendran, for joining us. Before we go into the results, 25% tariffs have been announced by President Trump on India. What is the impact on the global ferrous industry and for Tata Steel in particular?
Tariffs on Indian exports to the US doesn't have a significant impact on us because, firstly, we are not selling anything from India to the US. The next question is then, does it impact us indirectly because some of our customers may be exporting to the US? Yes, the answer is yes, but it's not such a big component of our volumes. The second part is, this is what he has announced, but as we've seen in the past as well, I think it eventually depends on where it lands at the end of the negotiations with the Indian government. So I think it's too early to draw conclusions. But yes, it's something which concerns India because non-steel exports like pharma and many other industries are dependent on the US market. So I think we should watch that from that perspective.
But it's safe to say there is steel that is exported from Europe to the USA?
That is certainly being impacted by the actions taken by President Trump. In the UK, there is a 10% agreement on the exports. I think the conversation between the UK government and the US is more on the melt and pour conditions because, as you know, we are currently shipping steel from Netherlands and India to UK for converting from slabs into hot rolled coils and downstream products. So that's the only part which we are waiting for clarity. From Europe, while recently there's been an agreement, but on steel, our current understanding, it still stays at 50%, which is very significant. So that's a matter of concern. It has an impact on us, but some of these costs are being passed on to our customers because, unfortunately, for the US customers, they don't have domestic options to source the steel and are dependent on imports. So there is a part of that cost going on to customers in the US, and part of those costs will have to be borne by us. So we're taking some mitigating actions. It's about 10% of our volumes, so it's not that material from a volume point of view, but they're all profitable and high-end products. So it's not easy to develop alternate markets for that either.
Understand, not easy to develop alternate markets. You will be bearing a certain proportion of the cost, but 10% of total European volumes is what you mentioned. So what does that mean in terms of steel in absolute terms?
Yeah, that's right. About 700,000 tons in Netherlands, slightly less than 100,000 in UK. So in UK, it's less than 10%. It's about 10% in Netherlands.
Okay. And what was the benefit of coking coal realized in Q1 FY26? And will there be a similar benefit that we'll see in Q2 as well?
Yeah, I think last quarter we had guided a $10 reduction. We are in that range. $10 to $15 reduction is what we had guided. Both for Europe and India, we are in that range. Next quarter also will, or rather this quarter will also be about $10 lower for coking coal in consumption costs.
Okay, so that is as regards coking coal. Now, in terms of Q2, how are the current steel prices trending when you're comparing it on a sequential basis?
I think the guidance we are giving is that it will be about 2,000 rupees per ton lower in Q2 compared to Q1, for Tata Steel, because some products, move up and down a bit, and on an aggregate basis, we are guiding 2,000 rupees per ton below and lower in Q2 compared to Q1. We had guided 3,000 rupees higher in Q1 compared to Q4. I think we ended up at around 2,600 higher in Q1 compared to Q4. In Europe, it will largely be flat, maybe 5 to 10 euros per ton higher. It won't be going down, maybe slightly higher, but more towards flat.
Okay. And if Europe gets benefit of higher prices and lower coking coal costs, then EBITDA per ton, that can be in the scale of $30 to $40 a ton?
Not really, because there are other costs which are going up in Europe. There are other input costs. So I wouldn't give that guidance. I would say that Netherlands will be in this range, maybe slightly better. UK, we also will be in the range. I wouldn't go say that there would be a big increase in the numbers, the improvement in the numbers, because market conditions are still tight. We're waiting to see the impact of Trump's actions, etc. So, so I think we will say that the guidance on Q2 will be similar to Q1, maybe slightly better.
Q2 slightly better compared to Q1. Also, we are talking about cost transformation savings. How confident are you that you will realize savings of close to 11,500 crore in FY26?
That's right. So this was the targeted saving for this year, and it is backed by very granular level projects which are being undertaken across geographies. We are pretty much on track for most of those projects. There are some areas where we are lagging, but there are some areas we're trying to make up. But we stick with our guidance of 11,500 crores.
Mr. Narendran, what would the difference be between India prices right now, given we do have some safeguard duty and imported costs coming in from China as well?
Difference is narrowed because Indian prices have dropped and domestic prices in China have actually gone up about $30 in the last week or so, right? $30 to $40. So it's not yet attractive to bring in material from overseas. There is some material has come from Russia some time back. So the threat of imports is always there. The other concern is because Indian market is growing, we are able to sell in India, but export prices are not very remunerative. So because the Chinese steel is depressed prices globally. So that's a concern. So it hurts the sentiment. People are always watchful. But it's not as if huge volumes are coming in, but the threat is always there.
Okay, take that point. Now to the balance sheet. Debt is hovering around that 84,000 crore mark. What is the capex plan? What does it mean about the debt reduction plan that you have in FY26?
We are expecting our debt to be lower by the end of this year than where we started. We started at around 82,000 crores. We expect it to be lower. I'm not giving you a specific number, but we'll certainly be lower than that. The capex guidance stays at that 15,000, 16,000 crores that we've guided at the beginning of the year. We are on track for that. We are obviously trying to do what we can to release more from working capital. We've done a good job in Netherlands of releasing a lot of money out of the working capital there. We need to do a similar work in UK and to some extent in India as well. And if our profitability stays at these levels or thereabouts, then we'll be generating the cash flows which will help us bring down the debt.
Thank you so much, Mr. Narendran, for talking to us about Q1, how prices are panning out in Q2, as well as the debt reduction plans going forward. Now we'll slip into a short break, but before we do that, a slight reminder for our viewers: unlock a world of exclusivity, expertise, and influence. Become a member of CNBC-TV18 Access, our prime members-only experience on CNBC-TV18.com. The membership includes access to CNBC-TV18's flagship events, interactions with our journalists, along with curated studio tours, e-learning sessions, and master classes, along with curated lifestyle benefits.